Rody 51. We are going to be talking a little showdown tonight. We also are going to be recording a video tomorrow for you guys for the NFL slate on Sunday, and we will be live with you at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. It is going to be a fun weekend. We have football back. It feels like just a few days, and I'm already missing it. Like I haven't left the house since Sunday because I've been working on a bunch of stuff, and I finally left to do a hike in the middle of the day today just to get back. But now I'm back. I'm ready for some football. Rody, I know you like to build big in the showdowns. I think there's a lot of edge over the course of the season. I'm actually thinking one of these Sundays would be fun to do, not necessarily a show for all this, but to have a showdown slate. And I would post my ownerships or whatever, but to play every showdown slate. You know what I mean? I think it'd be kind of a fun way to enjoy the Sunday, as if it wasn't crazy enough already. But how are you doing over there, and how are your builds coming along?
Builds are coming along good. It's just the question of the night is how much do we fade McCaffrey? Do we fade him at all? Do we lock him in captain, or do we just lock him in the flex? I mean, you got a lot of options with him tonight and find ways to get different than after that.
Yeah, it's tough for me. I'm not fading McCaffrey in any lineup. I just think that without an injury, I just can't. I don't even know what is this. Even if he scores 14 fantasy points, aren't you going to want those probably? I just can't figure out a way to not that's the bottom. I mean, that's literally the least we could probably expect from him in this kind of game. Yeah, I have 100% McCaffrey, but I did try and mix in some other things in the captain that we talked about before, putting some Brandon Cooks in there, which I actually did in one of my big buy-ins. I'm not only playing 10 in the millionaire thing, but I am playing a couple in the 222, and I actually think that there is a really good argument for Cooks here. And I know that you want to play him with Mills. I still think this game, look, if you're playing 150, in my opinion, I think you want 2 or 3 lineups of those to have Jeff Driscoll in it, just because there's no reason that Davis Mills can't. 1, everybody can get hurt. 2, he could just throw 3 picks in the first quarter, be down 28-0, and then by halftime at the latest, he's gone, which means you have a pass-happy second half with none of him involved. So just throwing that out there as a weird wild card play. But instead of talking about just the wild card plays, who are the guys we're over on exposure? Who are the guys we're under? Why don't we let you start that one off and let us know, it sounds like you're going to be under the field because you want to try to get different at captain than McCaffrey. Is that right?
Yeah, I'll probably be under the field on him. Maybe lock him into 8 to 10 lineups and captain out of 75, and then kind of get different with other captains. I like Robbie Anderson a lot. I like Cooks a lot tonight. He's a little more expensive. Those are 2 guys I'll have a lot more exposure to. Chris Conley's popping for me a little bit. I know Andre Roberts is getting a little love, but I do also like Anthony Miller as well. I think he's a boom bust kind of guy. He's got 3 touchdowns for us on a showdown for back in the day to win us some money, big money.
That's right.
So
big money. Yeah,
he's one of my big money guys that I play at captain once in a while, even to get crazy. But I don't know if I'll get there. So yeah, I like that. I'm more into the Mills than I think maybe you are. I'm more in the Houston passing. I think they're going to come from behind. So as long as you get the right few guys right for Carolina, I think you can really make it work. I do like the 4-2 builds for Carolina a little bit more, but it's definitely hard to see that working. But that's what the data really says. So, it's really strong today on 4-2 for Carolina. So that's kind of where I got going right now.
I understand it. I actually think that I'm leaning a little bit more the other way, playing McCaffrey and some, I don't want to say nonsense, but I'm higher on Miller than I think you're going to get lower ownership on him than Conley. I think Roberts and him should be pretty similar, but I think Miller has a better chance to be worked into the game, but Roberts can always catch that bomb. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. I don't know, man. It's kind of tricky for me to get too far off the board other than leaving a bunch on the table, which I've done in a few places. I'm playing a lot of I'm way overweight on certain guys like Philip Lindsay. I mentioned to you before we went on. I understand that it's a boom busty type of situation, but this game it's the kind of game that could be done at halftime. You try and play a narrative, right? So you play Lindsay with maybe in the Cooks or whoever from the passing game of Houston in the captain or McCaffrey even, but then just run it back with 2 like McCaffrey in the Panthers defense and then put stack 4 on the other side just because they're going to have to. They might have to throw the ball 40 plus times in this game. if it doesn't, if things don't go their way early. That's the angle that I'm playing. I do think Carolina's a much better team. I don't know what we can expect from Davis Mills. I do know that Houston even has looked, actually pretty good considering that they lost, their quarterback. I think that would have been an interesting game last week against Cleveland. They might be 2-0 right here. We'd be having a really interesting situation, but obviously it's not the case. I do think that the 4-2 for it and playing that route with McCaffrey and either Zane Gonzalez or McCaffrey and the Panthers defense or both, and then running it back with the rest Houston, trying to avoid as much of the Darnold thing as I can, although I do love Robbie Anderson. In general, I'm the biggest DJ Moore guy. I just didn't get to him much tonight personally. I don't think it's going to be a game where they need to throw the ball 11 times to him. He could always break a big play, sure. But I'm more than happy to try and fade that, try and get the action out of Anderson, McCaffrey, and then honestly the kicking game and the defense. I wouldn't be surprised if this is the kind of game where you get 6-7 sacks, a few turnovers maybe, and who knows, even a defensive touchdown is on the table. I really could see the defense paying off, and I think that their price, they're not going to be that popular. It's not like we're talking about $3,500 for a defense of $6,200. So that's what I'm doing. But I have Miller and Conley both, but I'm slightly favoring Miller over Conley, thinking he's going to be lower owned.
Yeah, that's good. Are you said you're getting a Lindsey a little bit in the captain in some of your builds that you got?
Not in the captain. No.
Okay. I know you said Cooks there, maybe run back with. Okay.
No, I can put Cooks in the captain, play Lindsey as I can still play Lindsey. I mean, I'm still playing their passing game coming from behind, and while it more likely is David Johnson who gets that work, it could completely be Phillip Lindsay. I mean, he had the receiving touchdown last week against Cleveland, and not the same situation, but you're going to see him in on some third down plays. And I think you're going to see, he's a guy who has big play potential. So I want to take a shot on that guy while he's priced in the same range as the other running backs. I just think he's going to end up way lower owned than everybody thinks. Right? He's going to be much, much lower owned than Ingram and Johnson, right?
Yeah. I mean,
I don't buy the current ownerships right now. I'm just
he projects to be in the middle, but I think you, like you said, he's probably going to be lower owned. I don't know, man. It's just so hard. They're playing all three of these guys. You really got to just kind of sprinkle them in and just hope you get the right guy. I think, or go heavy on one of them and think like David Johnson or say Lindsey gets all the the play, or the touchdown or breaks one. Then that's the guy you're going to need. So
Right. He could do it all in one play. And while I love what he used to be and Mark Ingram, who should get enough of the work to be a logical play, I just want to try and get different on these showdown slates. And I think Lindsey is the guy who can help me get to slightly lower. Looks like we got some people commenting in here. Panthers, any chance at captain too risky? I think that at their price, it's probably it depends on how many lineups you're playing. I think that if you're playing 25 plus lineups, you can take a shot with one of the Panthers and the captain. I don't think that's the optimum way to use them. I think that you're going to get fairly low ownership in the just regular play them in the flex, and that's what I'm doing. But any thoughts there from you?
I used to play a lot of kickers and a lot of in these low scoring games to go defenses and kickers more. But I've kind of tended to lead to the upside guys. That's why I'm on Robbie Anderson for the 2 touchdowns over top. I know a couple of Houston secondary players are out, so I like that route. So I used to play that way a little bit. But I'd rather play him in the flex now. I do more, maybe like a double kicker, even if you want to talk about that in the flex, or I know double defense. I've never really done double defense as much, but if you're playing over 25, give him a shot, maybe 1 or 2, just to get different. I think is a good idea. You're going to be way different. I think most people won't go there. But,
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, make sure you play Houston with the defense. People I'm playing Carolina defense, so I need to play McCaffrey, Darnold, Robbie Anderson, and then play 2 Houston guys. No. If the defense is scoring touchdowns in your captain for upside, that means Mills and Cooks and those guys are coming back out to get tons of points again. They get the ball again. If there's a pick 6 by Carolina, then Houston's got to come back out and score again or get the ball and get yards. So absolutely. Darnold and those guys will be on the sideline most of the game. So absolutely. Make sure you guys play your game script a little right when you're doing those kickers or defenses, as well. So
yeah, and we've talked about that quite a bit before. It is really important to try and play the game script, I believe. DF says he's rolling with a 4-2 Houston with CMC and Robbie. I like the 4-2 Houston as well. I know that other people like the other way around. I'm trying to get a little different, but I think if you overstack the Houston side with CMC and whoever else you want, whether it be the defense, whether it be, and I have a 4-2 with Zane Gonzalez in one of my big ones, and just Zane Gonzalez and CMC, thinking, maybe CMC puts up 35 and Zane Gonzalez puts up 12. They get stalled out a few times in the kicking game, and that's very, very possible, and leaves you enough to pay for Cooks and Mills and that passing game on the other side. Any Burkhead at all? He always vulture TDs back in the day. I didn't touch anything with.
I X those guys. I X a lot of those guys on my pool. So
yeah, I think there's always a chance for maybe a vulture touchdown, but a 4th to 5th string running back, depending on how you look at it, it's really hard for me to get quite that far down there when you need 6 players to actually score points. I like the question that Adam asked us. When you say leave a lot of the salary on the table, how much is too much? How much dollars do I mean? I mean, obviously it depends on everything, the field size, like you mentioned, Adam, but I personally am willing to leave up to, let's see, 5,000, depending on the showdown slate, maybe even more on certain slates, but usually it's going to end up in the 3,000 or less range, probably 2,000 to 3,000. Well, how about you, Brody?
I got the rule set for 3,000 right, or 2,800 actually. I usually stay a little tighter.
Yeah.
I don't get too crazy with the 5,000 thing.
Yeah, it depends on the week and stuff too, right? Like week 1, you don't really know who to expect, who's going to emerge as something, you know what I mean? Things like that. But by this time, like actually it's still pretty early in the season, but yeah, I don't think you need to leave much more than that in general. I like that general rule as no more than maybe 3,000. But I personally will go up to 4 or 5 depending on what kind of game it is. Like a Chiefs game is a good game for me because then you play Hardman and Pringle and you can forget about Hill or something. You know what I mean? And all of a sudden you leave the table. Not that it would have got you to Hill, but you just what I'm saying. People don't generally build like that.
Yeah,
that was my one big chance at a Sunday was last week. I had Pringle in my captain spot. And I had a shot late. I mean, you know what I mean? If I needed to come back to go to Pringle, and I think we would have been in business because he was, I think, 0.2% owned in the 222 on the captain. I finished like 15.
Yeah, I had him in one in the captain, but I had literally all the wrong other guys. Like I would, even if he kept doing anything, I was so screwed with the other guys I had. I just took a different direction with that lineup, and I made a bunch of mistakes on that one.
I got fortunate to get the rest right, but I would have been nice. You get the 38-yard touchdown or something, gets him over 100 yards, and you get the 14 points extra, and all of a sudden he's the man. That would have been sweet. CMC a captain. I'm not getting cute. It's either CMC or Cooks a captain tonight. That's fair enough, DF. Like I think that getting cute is necessary in a lot of showdowns, but if I was playing just 1 or 2 lineups, I probably would have McCaffrey if they were smaller field tournaments in the captain. If they're larger field tournaments, I would definitely look to get different. I think Cooks is different, by the way. No problem, Adam. Always appreciate good questions. Adam's a good player and always asks really good questions. Sheets keeps texting me. What is going on here? This is like, is he just sweating something or is he just got something? What is happening?
I don't know. I don't see anything from him.
He's pulling a you thing, and something that happens in our Discord sometimes. He's already pissed off about baseball. And he's given up on the slate already, and he says onto the NFL. I don't know what could have happened that maybe I missed him. I'm guessing that means that Nola got hit, which is probably the case. But I have a couple of Nola pivots that I did. Yeah, Nola. Oh wow, he really got hit. Oof, 5 earned runs. Oh, the Pirates were the way to go today. Jeez.
Nice.
What's weird is Nola probably, assuming that he's still in the game, I think he is, probably ends up still getting like 15 to 20 fantasy points. Maybe not that many, but maybe just south of that. All right. How about other plays? Any other weird captain spots for you okay, let me ask you about Chuba Hubbard.
Oh, man.
That might be overplaying this blowout, right?
Dude,
No?
I don't have any. He's not even popping when I run the build at all. So I'm not getting any Hubbard. So
It feels like one of those cute plays that shouldn't work, but like McCaffrey has it. They have to worry about one thing with him, so they sit him out the rest of the game, and then Hubbard comes out. Like that's the only way. You're kind of like playing for injury a little bit, in my opinion, if you're doing that. Now, in a massive blowout, sort of the rule. Sort of the thing I was talking about before, where they're up. Let's say they're up 5 scores in the third quarter. Maybe he does get the run, but you're looking for a very, very interesting game script to try and play him, and he's getting ownership from what I can see, and that doesn't make enough sense to me for me to go there.
yeah, I don't have any of that. So
yeah, projected for about 1.5 fantasy points. But I know a lot of other people were into it. So the obviously, and again, same thing. Like, don't play Royce Freeman or Giovanni Ricci. Like, yeah,
I saw those guys out. Yeah,
get them out. Occasionally, some of these $200 guys can be great for us. I don't think this is the spot we want to do it. All right. Yeah. Well, it's pretty weird that to see your lineups with the lineups that don't have Nola just shooting up the leaderboard because of how I own Nola is. I'm glad I didn't use him on FanDuel. That's all I can say. All right. Let's see. Any other questions, guys, or any other thoughts? I'm going to get out of here in 10 minutes. We have Rody still finishing his builds, and the game starts in 30 minutes. What have we not?
I'm always still finishing my builds.
You're right. No, it's true. It's true. I mean, like Ingram's the most logical running back, but like I said, I'm preferring to go with Lindsey and hoping the game script goes and he breaks one play. That's really what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I understand the David Johnson too, pass catching coming back, which we know Ingram is not exactly Ingram's forte. He actually caught 2 balls last week for -1 yard, which is like as many balls as you'll ever see him catch. Usually, he just Ingram. David Johnson, on the other hand, there is a path to David Johnson having like 10 catches in this game. There's a path to Phillip Lindsay having 4 or 5 catches and 50 rushing yards and a touchdown. Like that's totally within reason. And I think Lindsay is just going to be significantly lower on than the others, personally. Yeah,
I like it.
A little different.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm just I just don't know if I want to do these 4-2s or what I want to do. I like some of the 3-3 builds I was getting, but
do you have any 5-1s?
No, none.
Just curious.
No onslaught, baby.
I actually considered a 5-1 the other way.
Oh, Houston with like McCaffrey only.
McCaffrey only and the captain, and then play Houston. Yeah. Just he gets all the touchdowns, But even then, still probably the defense or kick, like somebody else comes into play,
Yeah, the kicker's got 14 or something, 2 bogged down ones, and then a 50-yarder at halftime for 5. Yeah. And like another couple extra points, and then he ends up with 12, and you're like, "What the hell? I don't have the kicker." Dude, the kicker almost won me some money the other day, man. If that stupid delay a game, man.
Oh man,
going for the touchdown. Zay Jones lineup I had popped way up anyway, but I think the kicker would have been better off for me. But Carlson, 40-yard, 30-yard, or whatever it was, 4 points or something. I think 40-yarder. If he made it though.
It'd been nice.
Well, I just don't know. Tonight is hard.
I'm just going through my Twitter right now, and I'm looking at everybody talking about how Robbie Anderson's the best pivot to leverage on this slate, all this stuff, and I'm like,
I don't know. He's probably super.
Anderson's not going to be unowned. Like, it's not like we're doing anything really weird by playing Robbie Anderson.
No.
Right? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I just added some DJ Moore, so.
Yeah, I actually think that the way that the builds look, like, to me, Moore would be like, this is a less interesting game script that I think of for Moore. But he's obviously, on average, going to score a lot more fantasy points than the other two will. But I don't think this is the kind of game that you're going to get the best possible upside out of Moore, personally. But it's always possible. I mean, I love DJ Moore, and it feels weird to ever be underneath him. Like, I'm always over the field on DJ Moore, whether it's a full slate or whatever. I love this guy. He won me the same day, the $22 and the $44 for $100K on FanDuel one day. That was pretty nice. Almost won the Millionaire Maker with it, but freaking Trayvon, but it would have been, I think it was like 400K that week or 350K or something. It wasn't the full million, but Traquan Smith caught a ball when they were up by 42 points that boosted me out. Let's see. David John City right there. Yeah, exactly. I think that's why I'm playing it. And I'm hoping that the ownership guess is wrong on these things. And I'm guessing that it is. I think that David Johnson will definitely be higher owned than the other side. Just my take. Than Lindsay. All right. Anything else, guys, before we get out of here and let Rody finish his stressful build? He's like me with baseball right now. just still building up till the last second.
It's just it's more tinkering, man. It's more like,
of course, yeah.
Do I do 75 4-2s for Carolina, or do I leave it as mixed kind of 4-2s 3-3s type builds?
No, I like the tinkering. I think it's good. I think that the tinkering on showdowns is awesome.
Yeah, except I'm going through every lineup and looking at how the 4-2s look right now compared to the 3-3s. So
yeah,
seeing if I want to go that route.
All the ownerships are always off for these showdowns. It's always funny to me, like why they can't fix some of it. Like to really think that McCaffrey's only going to be owned 50% tonight is like the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah,
it's going to be 90% plus, right? Am I missing something?
Yeah, he'll be pretty high.
It was happening with Giannis in the playoffs, and everybody's like, "Oh, we got to fade Giannis to get difference." And I'm like, "Okay, what are you gonna do? How are you gonna get those 80 points back?" You know, like some guys you just need to play, and I think McCaffrey fits that bill tonight. Like I just can't quite avoid him. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, appreciate you guys being here as always. Anything else, Rody, before we get out of here and let you finish your builds?
No, man. Let's just get it tonight. Let's another milli up top for a big one tonight. We got the 222, so we should be able to have some nice juice tonight. Let's get some screenshots out there. I hope you guys get some big wins. So
yeah, guys, even if you're tied for first, send us the screenshot. Post a screenshot in Discord. We love it. Let's crush it, guys. Good luck to everybody out there. Peace.
Later.